Discord has become an incredibly useful tool for our gaming communities. Its most useful feature to us as gamers is the ability to organize and manage small and focused communities. Set up a server for your LGS or one for your team. Want a space where all the Swifties that also play Fab can collaborate? Join the Brute Nation. That's right, folks. Discord is a great method by which to form and sustain our various communities, and for many, it has become the primary vehicle for community engagement. But for real-life-based communities, such as an LGS, this has become a bit of a problem. Our over-reliance on Discord to run our local communities can actually stifle growth. Hey there, DC folks. At this point, we usually run the standard intro segment, but for an event like this, episode 400, I want to take the opportunity to directly thank all of my channel members. These folks right down here on the scroll directly support the Dice Commando community. Some of you have been here since the beginning when we picked up Fab, and others have joined within the last couple of weeks, but regardless of duration, thank you. And if you're not on that list and want to be, we'd love to have you as well. Thanks again, folks, from the bottom of my heart, and go Commando. So you walk into a new to you LGS and ask about their Flesh and Blood events, and you get the response, "Are you on our Discord?" Not one of us doesn't grimace at least a little bit. Aside from the fact that that response kind of implies that you're an idiot for asking an otherwise reasonable question, it can be a little frustrating. We shouldn't have to be on a Discord to get the information that we're looking for. Hey there, Fab folks, and welcome back to Dice Commando and Go Again, a fabulous cast, and thanks so much for joining me. Now, today's cast is episode 400, that's right, 400, and I wanted to use that nice round number and big milestone to talk to our community, and specifically a challenge that I think many of our local communities have created for themselves. And yes, this cast was directly inspired by two things that have happened to me personally in recent history, making them directly relevant. But it's something that has been a prevailing problem for nearly all of Flesh and Blood's history. And yes, that issue resolves around Discord. But it's not Discord itself. Sure, Discord has its issues. The notification system is an absolute chore to get set up correctly, and sure, there are other things that could be optimized. But overall, Discord serves its fundamental purpose quite well, pun absolutely intended. Instead, the issue is when local communities, game stores, whatever it might be, start managing their events and sharing information through Discord alone. And that's why I want to discuss how some communities shift towards a Discord-first model may actually be stifling that community's growth. Then I'm going to lay out some ground rules to ensure open and easily accessible communication to people of all backgrounds. One of the primary issues with communities using Discord as their primary means of communication is that it is a closed system. Without an invite to a particular server, you're not able to join up. Now, this isn't a flaw, it's a feature, right? It allows our communities to stay protected and stay exclusive. But you can see the problem. Folks have to use another form of communication, website, Facebook, Reddit, whatever it may be, in order to find the Discord, and as such, it becomes extremely difficult to find the needed information. And if you're using it to organize and or communicate information or events, if you're not sharing that information on other locations, it's an inevitability that someone will not get the memo. Ultimately, no one, no matter if they're local, not local, it doesn't matter. No one should be expected to join an exclusive community in order to get the information that they need. That is, by the very definition, exclusive. Let me repeat that because I think it's really important and should resonate with you. The creation of an exclusive community is inherently non-inclusive. Now, that statement in and of itself, in my opinion, should reinforce the problem statement. That said, let's think about it in a practical standpoint from the LGS's and the community standpoint, and I'll do that with my first story. So as many of you know, I've been traveling recently. I brought some decks with me in my travels, and as time allows, I go play some Fab. When I'm looking for an event, first I go look in Gem, but not events are always scheduled out in the future, so naturally I go to the store's website. But with nothing posted on the website, no calendar, I have no other choice but to call up or just show up blind. One such store has an awesome group of folks in their community, but the store itself has no calendar of events and doesn't have their events scheduled in Gem, because sometimes their events don't fire. They don't get enough people, so I'm sure from their perspective, why schedule them out? But to a certain degree, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? If no one outside their group of regulars knows an event is happening, then how do they get more people? I was recommended by their locals to join their Discord. Not being around for long, it's something I wasn't keen to do, so I just keep showing up hoping events will fire. But one can imagine that for others, they probably just wouldn't come back. Now I get it, the ease of Discord as a vehicle for managing these community events makes complete sense. It's super easy to use, but it cannot serve as a replacement for legitimate public means of information. As a local game store, as a community leader, you should always maintain an event calendar on a general website. Ensure a link to your Discord is publicly available if you desire people to join that for information. But remember, do not assume that something communicated via Discord is known by all, and accordingly don't change plans last minute, assuming that Discord will catch everyone up to speed. Now, the other drawback of the Discord first type model isn't a Discord issue at all. It's a natural byproduct of what happens when we, as people, create specialized and siloed communities. We as humans naturally become more tribal, and the hive mind phenomenon takes over.
Where did this come from? And this is what happens when you gather 10 brute people in a Discord and they just talk back and forth and they create narratives amongst each other. It couldn't be any further from the truth.
The convenience of talking to who we want to talk to about what we want and the efficiency of idea sharing and event planning can often cause us to forget, even momentarily, that there are those outside our communities. This very recently popped up during ProQuest 4 event scheduling here in the Pacific Northwest. Gongai Games was given a ProQuest 4 event, and in doing the scheduling, we wanted to make sure that we could avoid conflicts with the other LGSs in the area. Pretty common sense, right? So Kevin he stepped up, he called or contacted other places within the Portland region, and we found a couple of days that were open. Now, what we had overlooked in that was that we had not gone essentially far enough south, and in the end, we ended up having a conflict with one of our sister, brother stores, whatever you want to call it, in the southern region. Now, it turns out that an event scheduling conversation had been happening on the local judge Discord, the regional judge Discord, of which I was not a part of. Now, that has since been remedied. I'm now part of that conversation, so we avoid it going forward for me. But it doesn't solve that problem for the next LGS, that comes to the party, comes to the table, whatever it may be. Right? So again, small stuff, just little stuff, but you can see how that can start snowballing if we are trying to, again, build our communities. It's often very easy to forget that there are other people outside of our communities when all we do is interact with the same people every day. So look, folks, ultimately, I hope you're understanding my argument here today. I'm in no way discouraging the use of Discords. If anything, I feel I've reinforced how strong the tool is and can be for our communities. But it's up to us to use Discord or any similar forum intelligently and responsibly. They're certainly easier to use. That's the inherent advantage. But using it, and it alone, is not the most successful path for growing our communities. So that's it for me today, folks. Thanks so much for joining me, not just for today, but for 400 episodes. You all freaking rock. As always, community first, and go commando, my friends.